Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Den Podcast. I'm the host, Jonathan Hooker. You see Justin, you see Romell. You know we're gonna talk some football. Let's talk about the college football playoffs and the college football season so far. The way it ended, Indiana did come out and get the dub. I think, I think that for what Indiana did and how they won, it might be the blueprint on how things should go for college football and how teams will recruit. Honestly, take a couple high school players, but they're gonna spend that money in that portal. And I think that some teams are doing that. So let's do it like this: college football championship. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I thought the game was a pretty good game. I think we all picked Indiana to win. I said it was. I thought it would be a fairly close game. It was really entertaining. Miami was still fighting back. You know, what I'm saying, giving Signetti and the staff some problems. Mark Fletcher had a really good game. 17 carries, 112 rushing yards, two tutties. Malachi Tony are one of the most sensational freshman receivers in college football. He had a really great game. I would say that what surprised me the most was how resilient Miami was, and how they came back and everything, and how they kept fighting back. And then just like the adjustments that they made with Cristobal and everything. So I would say like Miami played a really good game, but like I said, Indiana is just they were just a superior team. You know what I mean? Like they just came out of the gates and they were just kicking Miami's butt. But I will say this much: the blueprint for recruiting and what Signetti has been doing will probably be the blueprint in college football, like you said. You go in the transfer portal, you go get those developed guys, you go get those people that are 21, 22. And I think we're going to start seeing a lot more teams like that in the next couple of years that recruit more transfers than they will high schoolers.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Like what you said on Miami's resiliency, that surprised me more than anything. Y'all remember what my score prediction was? I said 42-24. I thought Indiana was gonna put down and it was gonna get gross, bro. But like I'll say in the Miami could have kept it a little bit closer in the first half if they hadn't missed that field goal, kept it to a one possession game at that time. And I think that gave Indiana just enough cushion so that in the second half they didn't need to, I guess, like panic ever, I guess. Like I never felt scared for Indiana, I guess, if that makes sense. But I will say I just wish that what's his name? Shannon Dawson over there, like the offensive coordinator for Miami. I wish they had ran the ball a little bit
More.
more efficiently in the first half. I'm not gonna say more because it seemed like they were trying to run a decent amount in the first half. I just wish they had set it up better because you saw in the second half what they did. In the first half, it seemed like they were trying to run to set up the pass, and it wasn't working. Indiana would just sit on that in the first second down and then wait for the passes to happen with Beck, and then they'd move on. And you saw Beck start to get mad. Beck was starting to get mad. Like he got frustrated one time. They ran the ball and they didn't get nothing. It was like 3rd and 1, 4th and 1. They didn't get nothing. He looking over at the sideline like, what are we doing? Like, why do we keep running this? Like you could tell he was getting pissed off. So in this, like in the second half, what they do? First play short pass, second play 57 yards to the house run. Like to me, they should have like of course it's hindsight is 2020, but like bro, if they had started passing more to set up the run in that first half, I think they would have had it. I think they were just a little bit cautious about Indiana's DBs and Pond and everything, and the what we all saw happen at the end of the game was Carson Beck throwing a pick. Like, I think that's what they were scared of. So then they came out with that strategy. But I'll say, yeah, like you said, I'm super, super like surprised with Miami's resiliency. I sat right here on this podcast and told everybody that ACC does not deserve a team to get in. Not only did Miami make it to the championship, they actually competed still. Like Mario Cristobal, Ruben Brain,
Yeah,
Mark.
shout out to that staff. Shout out to that staff.
For real, for real. Shout out to that staff. Shout out to them for putting it in Carson Beck's head that like you're not trash. Like you just need a better situation. You just need better, I guess, things around you to succeed. And they went out and got that far. So be interested to see what they do again next year because they also kind of have the similar strategy, especially at the quarterback position, where they're like they ain't recruiting no quarterbacks out of high school.
Right.
Have y'all heard about what's been going on with Dan Mensah at Duke?
Mm-mm.
Yeah, he's getting
getting
sued right now.
sued.
Yeah.
He's getting sued by Duke because he entered the portal with like 3 hours left, and everyone knew he was going to Miami because Miami was like the main team that needed a quarterback. So this was the package. They'll buy out the Duke contract and terminate it. They'll pay him $10 million total to make the transfer go down. Country club housing, Adidas deal plus campaign. Sister gets full ride plus NIL also because she plays soccer at Oregon. Can you really blame him?
So his sister's she's gonna transfer to Miami too.
Yes, that was the whole plan.
What is going on? There's no rules around this. This is gross.
Yeah,
Bro.
they gotta the NCAA has to do something, or like it's already getting bad. And like we just saw with Dedmon and with Washington, he was about to leave to go to LSU, and then Washington's like, no, where are you going, kid? You just signed $4 million. We're giving you $4 million. You're not leaving. Like, where are you going? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is crazy. It's insane.
Yes, bro. Like, I feel it so like once you sign that contract, I feel like whoever's telling these kids you sign that contract, you're good. But then 2 weeks later, you tell them, and like 2 days later, into the portal.
It's those wannabe agents, man. It's so bad. It's really bad. Like, the agents are really like compromising these kids' brains.
Yes, and I think I forget which coach it was that said something. Is like their agents will be like their roommate or their homie from back home that they just knew since a kid. Like you ain't no agent, you don't have no financial, legal education or anything like you're not an actual agent. Like I think Saban said in the NFL, if you want to be an agent, you have to. There's certifications that you have to go through in order to be an agent in the NFL. You know what I'm saying? To represent a player. Like at this point, we are in free agency. Why do we not have the same rules? Like there is no like people call it the portal. Like it's free agency. Like why don't we have the same rules? Why is there not agents? Why is there not binding contracts that they can't just jump in and out of? Like
I think that's probably what we're going to see the next coming years if this continues at this pace. I'm definitely going to see it.
Yeah,
100%. Bad championship. One thing about it. Fernando Mendoza. Justin was a D1 hater. I gotta admit, I was a part of the club. I was part of the club that said Mendoza's good, but he doesn't have the physical aspects to where you be like, nah, like he might cook us today. But one thing about it, he's technical. Everything he does, he's technical.
And I will say that. Listen, he had that big that rushing touchdown on 4th and 5. I'm not gonna lie, that took guts.
That was a little bit of a Himothy moment. I won't lie.
Yeah, like that took guts from him.
Out of everything he's done this season, you know how I said like he's never had a Heisman moment. That was his Heisman moment right there.
I agree.
That was insane. Like him running through like 4 guys. Like
that was a sick run. I'll give him his credit for that one.
Yes, bro. I think that
goes with his credit. Like I'll say once again, he didn't even throw 200. I'm not gonna get into that. I'm not saying that means something, but like once again, like bro, like Indiana is clear. Like they have a recipe. They don't rely on their quarterback for real. Like they don't actually fully rely on him. Which like in Miami situation, they were gonna have to rely on Beck to win.
Nah, with Mendoza, he's just efficient. Like and there's nothing wrong with that.
He's smart. Smart player. He's a really
game manager. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't really take like high chances. There's nothing wrong with quarterbacks like that. Some teams, coaches love a quarterback that does not take chances, and they're very conservative, or like they'll take a chance once in a while, which is fine. But like you know what I mean? And like the way that I will say this: Miami's D line got after Indiana's O line though. Like Bain, whoever gets Bain is gonna be like their DC is gonna love Bain. Bain is, I'm not gonna lie, he reminds me of he's not like I think Abdul Carter's a better prospect, but Bain is definitely like a plug-in day one starting edge immediately. You could put him in a 3-tech, 1-tech. He can get after a quarterback. He's gonna be a special NFL player.
Yep. Him and Mesidor ridiculous. That was the first time I'll say I've seen Indiana's O line like struggle to protect Mendoza consistently.
Yeah,
And that
yeah,
first half, he was taking hits. He was taking big hits too.
yeah.
Like,
He was scrambling a lot too, right? They're throwing him off his feet.
yep. And like, well, I'll admit, Signetti was right. Like, some of those should have been a flag. Like, some of those should definitely been a pass, roughing the passer. Like, it was just after the whistle. You know what I'm saying? Or after the ball is well out of his hand. But yeah, in a general sense, yeah, no, I give Miami credit. Their defense came out and balled. Like, I thought they would have trouble stopping the run, which I mean, they still somewhat did. But I thought they would have trouble stopping the run, and that would allow Mendoza to go crazy. But
Yeah.
like they did solid stopping the run, which allowed them to, pass rush, like actually get after him, especially in that first half. Indiana just got smart in the second half. Oh, that's another thing, dude. Watching these two play callers versus watching what we see from Mike Bobo and
Ryan Day.
Ryan Day and the Kalen
Bro.
DeBoer and what's his face? I'm forgetting his name because he makes me so.
Yeah.
Ryan Grubb, like, bro, like, watching all that versus what we see from our teams every weekend, I'm like, what are we doing? Like, I can't fathom how these guys can be so creative. Malachi Tony, everyone in the world knows he's getting the ball. He still got 10 catches and 122 yards.
Yeah, they got the kid in motion. Use him in, yeah, man.
Like-
That and they did a really good job.
Callers. They have guys that put their guys in the best position to win the game. We're going to get our best guys the ball. Like, and that's what wins you games. So I give a ton of credit to those guys, like you said. But yeah, the offensive line for the defensive line for Miami did good. Offensive line for Indiana did better in the second half, in my opinion. But yeah, overall, just a great game. Like, elite football, bro. Like, I never expected me to like a game between Indiana and Miami in a championship so much. Like,
Nah, facts. But like one person I do have to shout out, Charlie Becker. Brother, every single time they needed a play, they didn't even go Surratt's way. They went to Charlie
Yeah.
Becker. And what did I say? Back shoulder, back shoulder, back shoulder. I kept spamming that.
That's hard for a DB to defend, though. You got, I don't know. Like, listen, that's hard
Yeah,
for a
it's
DB
tough.
to defend. That's very
long
tough.
reach. It's a long reach to try to
Yeah.
get, and then you're probably gonna PI. Like, anyway.
Yes,
Yeah,
bro.
I
That's-
would say like the back shoulder fade, like top 3 hardest things to cover for a DB.
Yeah, facts.
These
It
top
was-
3, that's hard.
But thing is though, it was tough. But then one thing, it's two things, and we'll move on from this. One, penalties. Whenever Miami was finna get off the field, whenever they were going to get off the field, a penalty struck, and it kept Indiana drives going. And then they gave Indiana better field positioning. We gotta think the defense only gave up how many points? Because a block punt, that was 7. Take 7 off, Miami wins the game.
Right.
Then
Yeah.
then you have to think. One thing I think that happened that people aren't talking about enough, Signetti outcoached Cristobal. Whenever it was a 4th down, Signetti went for it. He was not scared of the moment. Cristobal had a chance 4th and 2 before the first half ended. He decided not to go for it and decided to kick. And then the kicker missed. Now you're looking back like, we should have went for it, getting better field position. Maybe we couldn't even score. I think that having to take chances and meeting your moment in a position like that, when it's the last game, I think Cincinnati did a better job of that, better than Cristobal. I think that's what was the ultimate deciding factor in that game to me. But
I
now
agree.
moving forward, what we got? We got some teams to watch out for next year.
Ooh. Are we going like? Can I say? You know what? Actually, I'm not gonna pick Ohio State. Obviously, I think that's too obvious. I'm gonna go with a sneaky one. I'm gonna go with LSU.
It's not crazy.
I think
Not crazy.
LSU. You got Lane. You got J.C. Brown. You got Sam Levet from Arizona State. You still got Weeks On the defense side of the ball, I think LSU definitely should be a team to watch. They do have a tough schedule, obviously, with the SEC implanting the new 9-game conference. I think that's going to be, we're going to see like a lot of SEC teams get 3 losses, 2 losses. I think, in my opinion, I think the one loss in like SEC might be done. In my opinion, I think we're going to see a couple 2-loss teams get in now. But I will say from like a list, I will probably say LSU is a team to watch for me. Notre Dame, and then yeah, I would say just those two. Oh, Texas Tech. I like Texas Tech in the Big 12.
Yeah, Texas Tech went out and they did solid in the portal. The team that I have to watch is a team that is pretty much like almost copying Indiana to a T. Like what they're doing is Penn State. Like Matt Campbell came over from Iowa State, went to Penn State, and brought like half of his team there. Like if you look at their transfer portal right now, they're bringing in incoming transfers. You got 36. I'm not gonna sit here and count how many of these guys are coming from Iowa State, but you guys can go and look and scroll through yourself. Like, it's the same exact thing Indiana did with James Madison. Signetti came from James Madison. I'm taking all my guys and then adding some experience through the guys who are jumping in the portal from around wherever else. But I'd be really scared. Like, bro, I'd say I'd be really scared. I'd be really cautious of watching Penn State and thinking that they're the same old Penn State with James Franklin, who couldn't get over the hump of like the smaller teams. So we'll see, because I think there's a lot of teams that are going to run up against them and think like, oh, this is the same team, or they fell off big time. Like, I don't think it's going to be a huge drop off, like off rip, honestly.
They also have a favorable schedule too. I'm looking at it right now. Their only toughest teams I would say that they have is Michigan, USC, and maybe Washington.
Yeah.
So like, you know what I'm saying? Like they have a very favorable schedule. So I could see them definitely making like a little, you know what I'm saying, comeback after, a down year for them. So I could definitely see them winning at least 8 to 10, 8 to 9 next year.
I would really be watching that Michigan game, because those are the games that before James Franklin would lose and they would talk about he can't win the big
game. Yeah.
Exactly. Now, if Matt Campbell comes in there and does it, they're going to be looking at James Franklin kind of weird, one. But two, I think it's just going to catch people off guard, because, like I said, they're going to be thinking Penn State's that same team. This is a different team.
Yeah, facts. So is Penn State an underrated pick to make the playoff?
Make the playoff is not crazy, because it's like,
I just heard that schedule. If they just win one out of those 3 games,
that's what I'm saying. If they beat Michigan and USC and they win, they are like a sleeper pick, I would say.
Honestly, you could lose to Michigan, like, bro.
Yes, you can. That's what I'm saying. You can lose Michigan.
Because conference champions don't matter. Conference championships don't matter. This is what I was saying before. You can lose to Michigan and completely slide in, not even being scared of not making it. You can make it in and be like in that 5 to 8 range. You know what I'm saying? And be completely fine.
Facts.
That is true.
Facts. My team, they probably spend the most money this year. This is a make it break it year for this team. A lot of money has been involved. The Texas Longhorns, they spent a lot of money. They spent a lot of money retaining talent. They spent a lot of money getting talent.
Stealing.
Cam Coleman.
Cam Coleman and Hollywood Smothers. They spent a lot of talent stealing and tampering.
That oil money.
Boy, what? And that's the thing. But the person I'm looking at, Will Muschamp. They got themselves a real DC.
Yeah, I think
him going there.
Huge. That's very
brings attitude and accountability and culture to that defense.
Mm-hmm.
Something that they've been missing. And I think that if they can somewhat get the secondary right, because that front seven was never an issue. Like, Texas front seven was never an issue. It's always the back end with the secondary guys. If he can get the secondary right, Texas can look like a top 5 team, and they have a chance of winning the SEC like Greg Sankey always wants. Mm-hmm. But thing is, I think it's all about execution. They have to execute to win. I think that Steve Sarkisian, brother, if you don't win this season, I'm talking about nasty conversations for you. because right here, right now, this is the best roster you'll get.
No, it is. No, it is. It 1000% is. I'm not gonna lie. Like you got Arch, you got Cam. Finally got you got a wide receiver one. Cam's outstanding receiver. You still retain a couple guys on defense. Like this. This is literally make or break for Texas this year. Like if they don't win it next year, um, we're gonna have some very very uncomfortable conversations about Sark. Just plain and simple. He's got to win it next year, or he's got to at least make it. You know what I'm saying? He can't afford to lose in the playoffs, like the way he did against Ohio State.
I'll say two guys that gotta that have no excuses. Like you said, one is Sark, and then two is Arch Manning. You don't have an excuse anymore. Like, you know what I'm saying? First year, it's like, okay, it's your first year starting, whatever, whatever. Which honestly, like you sat for long enough that you probably should have been a little bit better. Like I'll say he got better throughout the season.
Yeah, he did indeed. Yeah,
On the beginning of the season, and by the end of the season, I think he was by then he was at least a little bit above a game manager, like a solid starting quarterback. But now you got Cam Coleman. You just brought in two running backs in Raleek Brown, Hollywood Smothers. They went out and got a couple O linemen. They got a bunch of D linemen and linebackers, so your defense is going to be better. Like, yeah, there's not much of an excuse. Like, you should be getting favorable field positions, favorable situations now. So at this point, you don't have a ton of room to be bad.
Yeah, man. Shout out to Texas Oil Money. You guys are doing what you needed to do. Spend money. But always remember, all money ain't good money though. Always remember that. But you guys don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys. And we'll have some off-season content for you guys coming soon. And we'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.
Those